like for Tracer, we've seen him play that quite a bit on Young and Beautiful before. It was very impressive. I remember Hanamura, where he basically took over the entirety of first point. Meanwhile, Angry Titans getting ready to roll out. They've got Kevster and Urki in their DPS spots. Superluke and Bruce are going to be coming in with a Hulk Hook combo. We haven't seen much of Bruce on Hog.
Yeah, we haven't. We haven't really seen him too much in the playoffs either. Brucean, this is his first time in playoffs. There's a lot of new blood here. Not so much old new blood, into Contenders, but into a playoff position. Very much so. Hurricane going to rush to the point, Harry. They got the WM1 comp. They got the Reaper in the main.
Yeah, the Reaper's going to make it very hard to try and brawl out with him with these tanks. Going to be doing a lot of damage to Bruce, who's been locked down there.
Got dragged off the high ground. Afox is already dead. Fat being the only healer. This isn't changed Brig, Harry. This isn't brand new Brig. She doesn't have those 3 health packs like she does on PTR. It's just the single. Does mean British Hurricane are going to be able to cap the point because AT had no heals to bear. Bruce ends up going down, but they do trade pretty well here, Harry. How do he ends up falling?
Yes, potential here for Angry Titans to try and make a re-engage to get the Hulk. They do not get the hook, though. Obviously, Bruce being down interrupts that combination quite well. There's the wall, trying to stymie the progress of Angry Titans as they set up on the point. They don't have a tank on the other side.
Yeah, that's a big fire and a grenade in the front line as well. They didn't get eaten out. The High Noon comes out too. Morphig ends up going down. It's now the support stalling out, but Yofi, you got to check if Kevs uses flashbang. He's just going to 180 you, and exactly what he just did. AT now making themselves known on the point. Hiding behind shields, going to stall for some extra time and actually find a kill onto Kevster, luckily enough. But Superluke ends it life rather sharpish, and AT end up recapping.
Yeah, great play there from AT. You've got to be able to check these resources from Angry Titans. One of the most important calls on British Hurricane will be that flashbang. It's very good against Bucket. It's very good against Suna and Daneb with these Wraithwalks. All 3 of these heroes depend on get-out-of-jail-free card situations with the Wraithwalk, with the Ice Block, with the Fade, and you can deny them all, especially if you hit him with some burst damage like Urki did.
That's pretty nice. Good pick. Almost a nice hook there. Danny did ice block it, but he's going to get caught out. Already used the cooldowns. Even Kevster pushing rather far up. Brand new McCree, like you said before, and like we saw in our last game. So that increased fire rate's doing wonders for Kevster right now.
Yeah, and we can also see combo stuns here from Angry Titans. They can go for Halt into the hook. They can flashbang or sleep targets who are bought in as well, meaning they can compound these CCs to try and make sure those get-out-of-jail-free cards cannot be used. Kevs is going to be in a very safe situation here with this Deadeye. He's behind Superluke Shield. They need to watch out for the rotation from Hurricane, who are already on the point.
That's a lot of ults used at once there. Coalescence, Rally, and Supercharger.
AT pushing the British Hurricane off of the point. However, Nano McCree finds one. That bomb launched up in the air. And Molfig, what was that? You gotta find a shield. You gotta find summon. Molfig finds 3 kills, and now Suna's on the back line, dueling out with the Kree. You can't really stop the WM1, but Urki's at least gonna find some more percentage on point. But AT end up going down. Suna hits the Q key. Urki falls.
I don't know why, though.
And that'll be Hurricane clapping the point.
The Q key there was very questionable, Jaws, because he was doing it up against a Mei and a Brigitte. Not only did they have the advantage of only 2 heroes of Angry Titans remaining, but also you can be shield bashed out of that. You can be walled away. Not the ideal use, I don't think. Suna may be wishing he has that back, but of course, he can generate it quickly by WM wanting some headshots into the frozen targets that Daned can provide. There's no Diva here, so it's going to be very difficult to mitigate this.
Pretty easy, and they're going to get walled off as well. Goodbye, everybody's going to get frozen. Bot claims himself a couple of kills, and that's pretty much a team fight won there, Harry. Yeah, it looked like it last series as well, where whoever has the Mail normally ends up winning because you lose so many cooldowns trying to escape it. You've got nothing up for the preceding fight, and that's if you survive.
And Urki's now over onto the Sombra. What value is he going to get here? Maybe looking for hacks onto Molf, onto Suna, but it's a little bit late in the game for that, Jaws. 40% of the way towards Ultimate and 15% away are British Hurricane from claiming the entirety of downtown right here. Angry Titans, they're very low on tools to try and make this work. They're looking for clutch plays. They want a quick amplification matrix from Fat.
Daned's got a lot, though. He can use forward. Now he can just walk forward and freeze everybody up. There's no way you're going to want to do that against a Supercharger, so AT are kind of forced to actually maneuver around it. Coalescence coming out from Brock as well. Way too much pressure on the front line of AT. Brewston and Superfluke end up falling, and Hurricane running back to the points. AT are going to try and stall for some additional time, but they're just running into a Death Blossom. Looks nigh on unwinnable. Some sort of miracle will have to happen for AT to try and find something here. Just one pick on somebody could be all that they need. But as soon as set up, everybody from AT are going to struggle to get on this point. A beat coming through as well should seal the deal. Superblue's going to get frozen up on the sidelines. Everybody kind of bundling on the point now.
Yeah, and we are seeing a little bit of a renaissance of Moira here as well. We are seeing so much healing come through from people like Bucket because they don't have to worry about the eating of those orbs.
There you go. There it is. No. Easy ults. Like, what are you going to do against this Moira 2? There's just so much pressure coming out. You earn himself another Coalescence. You're like, now we have to deal with something like this. It's almost impossible. And like you said, we're seeing a little bit more Moira now than we ever used to, especially in these comps that require you to be rather close together, tank line specifically. You're hitting so much when you're hitting both the Orisa and the Hog with just your left-click primary fire.
Yeah, and that's so important with an Orisa composition as well, Jaws, because obviously Orisa's main weakness is while she's moving from behind that shield, but if you can apply that much healing by having Moira as one of your healers, where you can move and heal with an Orisa who's got armor mitigation, potentially fortify as well, that allows you to take proactive repositions that people wouldn't usually expect when going up against a Moira. British Hurricane are coming out with something pretty interesting here, though. Double dive tanks from Hardy and Molf. Danid's on the Doomfist. We talked about this before. This could be the secret sauce.
It's going pure mitigation, though. They got Orisa and the Hog, McCree too, so if they hook someone in, they're surely going to die. Danid's going to have to be rather careful. You see instantly slept. Has got Byronade applied, and AT taking so much damage in the back line. You see Hardy just cleaves through everybody past the shield. If you got cooldowns down, there's nothing you can do. You need the flashbang, you need the hold, you need the hook in order to stop people like Hardy getting to the back line. Point does unlock. British Hurricane have kind of won the fight here, but still need to rotate in order to cap.
And in the previous series, I talked about how you can make space just through the mental game. And Danid, as a Doomfist, there's so much name value attached to that you can create a huge amount of space because people will just apply so much of their crowd control to you. Like we said, Angry Titans, they're full mitigation comp. Everyone has some form of CC available, and it's all going to be mostly put onto Danid. That allows Hadi to go in and get a huge amount of value. Morph can also get knockoffs here if he so desires.
Yeah, same with Morphing. If he finds a little power driver in the back line, could be all that they need. There you go. Up and Mind's going to get laid down on the stairs as well. Not really much they can do right here. British Hurricane are going to have to just fall back now. They know they've got the space to really work with. Set Sooner up, who's got the EMP soon. Danny looking for something rather cheeky on the back line. You want to go for that Ana. Sleep Dart missed. Danny missed the shots, but he gets out alive.
He will, but now he's facing down 2 tanks.
EMP coming through from Sooner as well. Could be any time, to be honest. EMP's going to come out eventually. AT, they're all gone. Danit finds 2 as well. This is what we wanted to see. Danit on the Doomfist and mixed with an EMP. He's basically unstoppable.
And that's so good that you can combine the usage of the EMP and the Primal Rage so that you can get a clean fight win with only 2 ultimates that by themselves may not win a fight. Now they've got the Nano ready. You can put that onto Hadi. You can give him the chance to build up yet another Primal Rage using the momentum that gives. And that also means that if Hadi's doing that much damage, so much is going to be applied to him that Danid can go in for free. It's all about taxing these resources. Angry Titans need to manage them so well. They've got so many anti-healers.
They're boosting in. Danid's getting the Nano. He tries to make some space in the back line, but that Blizzard using more defensively from Urki. Whole Hog does end Hadi's life. Danid's going to go back in once again and unleash that Meteor Strike, going straight for the main tank, and he can now as well. Kevster rolls out the way. A nice flashbang will end his life rather sharply, but the problem is Hurricane still control the point, and they beat as well to save some of the people from the upcoming fight from AT. And now an EMP's coming out as well.
Kevster under pressure, trying to go for the dual heroes Yofi, but he's going to lose it.
Super Luke's got that supercharger as well. British Hurricane have built up so much time here. Hadi comes back in with an instant kill into Kevster. Avox is also going to fall. But that supercharger used right at the very end. Not the best use, and now British Hurricane only need to win 1 fight.
Yeah, that was not the best use, Jaws, straight away, but it's even worse because British Hurricane only need to win 1 fight. And it's so important to have that supercharger to build up your other ultimates. You're doing 50% more damage, so you get 50% more ult charge. Simple, quick mathematics. And British Hurricane, simple, quick maths for them, 1 fight will do it. They've almost got themselves a Primal Rage. They're very far away from their offensive playmaking ultimates. Morphs may have to get some value out of this minefield, but they can just wait. They don't need to win this fight. Just drain Angry Titans.
I mean, the ideal situation here would be, again, Sooner building up for an EMP, or an early cap, yeah, might work too. They're going to go hard, though, jump straight into the back line. Nice little stun on Molfix, so he can't get the ground pound damage. Still lays out the mines, though, as Hadi used that Primal Rage, but gets frozen in place. Urki ends up going down first up, though, and Danad trying to find a little bit of action on the back line and finds it. Deadeye comes through as well. No heads have been clicked, but a sleep dart directly in his chest.
Yeah, going to shut that one down. We'll have to see what's going to happen right here. They've used for a supercharger again. Brand new
supercharger, but Avox is already dead. Harry now really no heals coming through. He's going to have to rely on Fat. He does pick up a kill on the back line, and Sooner now in trouble. Blizzard coming through from Urki, and AT are still going to hold this point.
Now they are. I want to see Molf here just stay on the point, get an early cap to make sure that Angry Titans, even if they win these fights, aren't getting closer to winning this one out. You can see right now Urki is playing Guardian, but he was an early first pick last time. They're getting some anti onto him. They're getting the hacks as well to make sure he can't use the ice block or the wall to defend himself. And British Hurricane, they invested pretty heavily in that fight by using themselves a Primal Rage Nano Boost and an EMP. They're not looking for a 1-6 ult fight win, but here they at least have the advantage. Angry Titans have used everything as well. Kevs is generating these Deadeyes at such a astounding rate that he's going to have another one ready to go, but it's very easy to mitigate.
Almost got 3 bursted there. Got to be careful. Dog Bok rather accurate. Nice little flashbang, ends up missing, but Dan and Bok already down. Disaster strikes for British Hurricane. Danny can't even use his ult to escape them all. And now Kevster taking over the game on the McCree has got the Deadeye ready to go. OT ticking through as British Hurricane tried to get back on the point, but the time is nigh for their time bank. AT jump on, Yofi's dead. Danik goes in, instantly dies almost, gets the meteor strike out, but everybody is able to get away. He ends up falling, but Kevster ends up going down here. Might be all that British Hurricane need.
3-man anti, 4-man even. They can get the damage. Hardy's used his primal.
He's got Nano on him as well. His hands are doing so much damage, but they continue need to touch in this point. Suna comes up with 2 though. May have spoken too soon, Harry, as British Hurricane are pushing towards this victory. Brewston ends up going down and gets knocked off the map, and now Hurricane controlled the point. OT ticks through, and in the very last couple of seconds, Hurricane find the win on Bussard.
That was so clutch from Hardy because Brewston had just used his whole hog as well. That could have done so much damage, so much zoning in that final fight. You've got to stay on the point, but you can't do that against a whole hog. And also, the setup there from British Hurricane was so intelligent. They actually had Suna decloak about maybe 8 meters away from Kevster on from McCree, so it would be just outside of flashbang range and outside of that AoE. And you saw Kevster turns around, he instinctively yeets the flashbang over, and the second that's used, Molf and Handy are on him. They know that they don't have that stun anymore. So it's a very calculated approach, and we can see that these are well-drilled comps coming out from British Hurricane, who are looking very powerful, especially in the tank line.
We knew how much damage Kevster was doing, like you said before. It's building up the ult so quickly. But as soon as you take him down, British Hurricane found the incision that they needed to make and managed to take Busan 2-0. We're going to jump to a quick break, though, guys. Do not go anywhere. Map number 2 coming up soon. Hey guys, welcome back. AT versus Hurricane on your screens. We just saw Hurricane take Busan 2-0, Harry. And one member that definitely popped off, and we spoke about it in the very start, it was Hattie. His first time in Contenders being a permanent player on a roster. And what a performance he's putting up.
Yeah, this is a very high-pressure situation, especially against people like AT, where you don't necessarily have that personal grudge against them, but you know your org has so much invested into this. The team around you, they remember what happened in Season 1, and I'm sure that Hattie was watching that as well. Maybe he didn't dream that he'd end up on that roster, currently a map up over Angry Titans. But it's a huge testament as well to the coaching structure of British Hurricane that they can get Hattie into the situation where it's his first playoffs, and he's not breaking at all under the pressure. Nox and Albion doing great things.
It's sometimes down to just your mental game, like you said. If you're in these high-pressure situations, some players crack, some players don't, and they end up popping off, especially in that last fight. You know, the whole hog away, that's one big ult down. Plus, that's a whole bunch of health that your rest of your team doesn't actually have to deal with. Hog can be such a menace on the point because he can just keep using that rebreather and using the hook to try and find an instant kill on a squishy person. Hattie securing that kill basically guaranteed them that fight. Looks like we're going over to Voskai Industries this time around. It will be AT's choice, and they will be on the attack first.
Well, speaking of choices, Jaws, British Hurricane, a very easy choice to predict. They are bringing Sparker for this map, which we'll likely see either playing one of the sniper heroes or Ash. For now, he is on that Hanzo. He's more known for his Widowmaker, but this would not be the first time we've seen Sparker flex around. I wonder how his Hanzo is. You can imagine it's going to be a very similar mechanical base, so he may well be incredibly dangerous on this hero.
We'll have to wait and see. This comp specifically as well, I mean, you are looking for those instant Holt hooks, right? And then maybe the wall as well to defend against the enemy Holt hook or to kind of lock someone in place. These choke points that people ferry through at the end of the day are pretty small compared to that ice wall, which will block off most of it. And the thing about Hanzo in this comp too, you can use that Sarkhan arrow to fish out people that are like hiding behind cover, plus that Storm arrow as well. Someone gets holted in, Harry. Bang, 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 bang. That's a lot of arrows in your face.
Well, let's talk mitigation as well. They got both the May and the Baptiste. That means that they have a good way to try and deal with Holt hook by blocking the incoming hook using the wall, and they can deal with Holt snipes coming through from Hanzos or Widowmakers by using the Immortality Field underneath them when that Holt hook is available.
Okay, just like AT are actually changing over here, mirroring the comp. Oh, wait, hang on a second. Maybe not. Urki and Fat jumping over to the Fire Mercy instead. That's going to be a lot of long-range poke damage that British Hurricane might not be able to deal with.
May also divide Bocket's attention as he tries to get some early poke onto Urki. He's going to be one of the main people who have to deal with that, along with Sparker, of course. Yofi's also got hit scan damage, but suffers from a lot more damage drop-off than the Ana does. You can see Urki around the right-hand side right now, thanks to the silhouette, and he's actually going to reveal himself with some long-range rockets. Not sure if it would have been worth it to maintain the stealth here, but Urki has made his choice.
I mean, they force the rotation here. At the end of the day, that Arista shield isn't very mobile, so it actually forces them to rotate back around to the point. Urki doing so much work here, though. Look, 50% on ult charge already, mate.
Got to be careful not to get slept, though. Could land himself in some very cold water. Yofi's already used the Immortality Field, though. That could be the go for Angry Titans to move in.
Yeah, Hattie taking a lot of damage as well. Double main heal, though, for British Hurricane, so they should be okay to sustain a little bit. Not quite, though, as actually Yofi ends up going down. Okay, good start for AT. Danny is also going to fall. It's all about the stalling game now for Hurricane. Sparker does find his like-for-like, though, in Kev's, though, who also falls.
Urki coming around the back, instant barrage.
Okay, it's all over.
Sayonara.
Okay, dude. Both Anas are going to fall. AT now moving on to the point. They have to deal with, though, this shield. Hardy is just going to stick behind it for almost seemingly ever. 2 minutes on the time bank have already been whittled away as Angry Titans finally find a tick on the points.
Beautiful
that should be. Look at him wiggling backwards and forwards. I'm pretty sure Yofi actually threw an Immortality Field all the way from second, it looked like, or at least the doors onto second to keep him alive for a little bit longer.
He's been practicing this ultimate frisbee. That's some good tech there as well from Urki to just hit behind the shield on the wall with a concussive blast, bring the Arista in, deal that additional damage. And we've got to give credit as well to the combination of Holt and the Farah Rocket as well with a damage boost, just to allow Urki to build up those barrages so quickly. And when you're building up barrages that quickly, Jaws, you can justify in an economy sense just going for the solo pick onto Bocket. British Hurricane here, they've got a lot of tools to try and make this one work, but Fat has the Valkyrie. He can sustain his team, but he may have a bit of trouble against burst damage that can be given through that amplification matrix.
As that makes just do so much work. It's so scary facing up against Zander like that. Dragon Strike is going to come through, though. The Holt as well. That's a lot of damage on the backline of Hurricane, but Immortality Field's going to save them for now. Now Urki used this time to get himself in position. Going to try and find a kill onto the Hanzo, and he does just that. Denid is also going to fall. Nano on the Diva to try and take care of Urki, but he's basically immortal in the sky with the Mercy Pocket. There's the ult as well. Urki finally takes him out. Oh, Huddy even, sorry. But it's too little too late. 18 now moving on to the point with shield in tow.
Only 4 members of Angry Titans, though a single pick here could absolutely doom their push.
Oh, Nano boost on to Kevster as well. Hasn't got the Storm Arrows, but might not even need them. Already putting out so much damage. Beautiful jump shot onto Hadi. And another one. A nice little flick onto Danid. Still manages to get the ult down, though, so a lot of space being bought now from British Hurricane, but AT have already secured a take on the point.
Picks of air. Sparker trying to find himself a Mercy right here, but he's going to have to deal with Urki in the skies. Kevster lets loose on the Dragons.
Sparker needs to die. He's doing so much damage in the back. Beautiful Matrix as he tries to track the Mercy through midair. Super Fluke ends up falling, and now Angry Titans, without a shield, might decide to back off. Sparker does end up going down, though, as AT decide eventually to back away. Fat somehow gets rocket punched in the skies, but it's Danid, of course, so I'm not too shocked. He ends up killing off A-Fox as well. AT, still, with a tick and a bit on the second point. Not too bad for their first push.
And crucially there, Angry Titans got an exit frag onto a mech of Molf. That means that he had to use a self-destruct to get that quick remech to keep himself viable for this next fight. British Hurricane are going to change up their composition, the same for Angry Titans. Let's look at how these match up. Fat's back on that Baptiste, so the Immortality Field could save them a lot of pain here, but they're also lacking in that resurrection. There are no second chances if Angry Titans get picked, and there's a lot of pick potential when you look at that Hanzo and Sparker can get a flashbang with a headshot or a fan of the hammer. We haven't seen much of Sparker on this McCree yet, so this is going to be a chance to show it off.
It's brand new McCree as well. I'm pretty scared. Nice. You got to be scared if you're AT as well.
Nice nade in the back. A-Fox, Super Fluke, and Bruce are going to go purple, but just a delay tactic for the time being.
That's a great wall, though. It's going to deny a lot of healing from Yarissa, and now has to back off until that shield comes back up. And now all of British Hurricane, they've been corralled into this corner. Kevster wants to get that Dragon Strike so we can just take care of all of them in that small area.
Yeah, Super Fluke has got Supercharger online, though, in his second Harry. That 10% isn't going to be too hard to build up. Big rotation, actually, all the way around the side. That's going to be a very, very easy place for them to set up. Nice little hold, nice little hook straight on the dealer. That nano boost actually went on to him as well, but didn't actually affect him until he was already dead. Super Fluke ends up going down, though, as Hattie finds the initial kill for British Hurricane, as AT do scamper back to the corridor. And the problem is here, Harry, it's going to be so hard for them to reset. They lost their main tank.
Yeah, they can just reset off the back, though. Just get out. Do not feed over the ult charge right now. You're not going to win without your Orisa.
Look at this ult charge being built up, like you just said. Hardy, 65%, but more importantly, Danid and Sparker have ult charge.
A-Fox was on the point, got a pick onto Bucket, but the second that Super Fluke went down, they should have all just flung themselves into the midst of the Foundry. You aren't going to win that without your Orisa, especially going up against Hardy and Molf, who have so much potential to mitigate any incoming damage. Angry Titans managed to farm up some ultimates, but so did British Hurricane, and when you're trading ult for ult, the closer spawns are going to win out, right? You don't have a resurrection in this, and British Hurricane do. When it comes to those trade economies, British Hurricane are so much in the lead that I don't think it was really worth it. But now they've got to deal with the hands that they've been dealt. Danid ready to go for this. They need to halt with it.
It's got to be an Immortality Field being burnt. There it is. Halt.
Again onto Molfic. Doesn't end up doing all of anything. Ceasing your resistance is Super Fluke because he does unleash the ultimate. A-Fox easily clicking on Hattie's head. Hattie does get resurrected though. This is what you said. The second chance. Not anymore though. There's the window. There's the kills. A-Fox and Kevster popping off. Widow's so hard to deal with. That amplification matrix was so much work. The shield gets destroyed with a self-destruct, but now AT just firmly put themselves on the point. 34 seconds remaining, but they end up capping second.
Unfortunately there for Hattie, he actually had a very ill-informed disengagement. He backed off away while his team were being bisected by the Dragon Strike. He backed into the Dragon Strike, so he took a huge amount of damage that he did not need to. That forced out not only an early resurrection, but a momentary lapse in his team's protection, meaning that A-Fox could just continue to get those shots through. And it was combined with the Blizzard. They knew they didn't have to deal with Hattie because Molf, he used the defense matrix, right? You got to defend Yofi while he's going for that resurrection. It's so important if that resurrection goes through, but once that defense matrix is spent, that means you can just roll on in with that Blizzard. No chance of mitigation.
It's so hard as well when the amplification matrix set up in that position. You saw it slightly tilted off towards the back right-hand side where you're looking at British Hurricane spawn. It's like, well,
how do we attack this now? We can't really even wrap around and go through the center small archway because there's still going to be a whole lot of fire, and then we are just giving up so much space to AT to kind of reset up again. You saw A-Fox in the kill feed, of course, on the Zen. It does so much damage. So much damage, and Orisa, such an easy target to hit, Harry. Rather large head hitbox and just hitbox in general. No way you're surviving against that.
Yeah, even with body shots, Zenyatta's doing almost 100 damage per orb when it goes through the amplification matrix. And like you said, the tilt is so important, Jules, not only because it means you can look towards the spawn, but it also means that with where A-Fox is positioned, he can not only lock down where British Hurricane were, but he could also lock down that central way into the point as well. Both points of ingress, the means by which British Hurricane could respawn and get back in were taken into a very dangerous area thanks to the amplification matrix. Now British Hurricane, they are going to be coming through on the attack. We'll have to see what kind of heroes they want to play with here. We've actually seen a lack of, let's say, useful Sombra so far. We've only seen a couple of things like the hack onto Pharah to doom them in the last series. But at the moment, it's so difficult to play on that Sombra because you're dealing with so much burst damage from the snipers. It's a very difficult game to play with your translocator because you can die in one hit.
Well, Kevster is going to be looking for picks, and he is going to be set up rather far away. You can see him just kind of hovering around the mega health pack. He's not going to go down too easily, though. It's going to be a straight arrow from Zander, really, that's going to catch him off, or maybe a right-click from Bok, but I doubt it very much. British Hurricane taking their time with this attack, Harry.
Sparker is on the McCree, and we saw Asking win out the duel before. Bocket has now discovered the location. Everyone crowding behind that shield don't want to catch any poke from Angry Titans, who are going to have a quick rotation here of their own. They want to see where British Hurricane are coming through from, and they're putting so much between Kevster and British Hurricane to guarantee that any attack will be very costly.
Oh, nice little headshot. Immortality Field used rather early for AT. Now, British Hurricane know this, they can move in. Fat's Immortality Field ends up going down, and that with the rest of British Hurricane moving on to the point. Beautiful Holt hook, but Defense Matrix used in order to... Bruceson can't get enough damage in, and now Hurricane have just taken Angry Titan's house, and they can just set up. However, both windows have been used as well. Instantly, these kills are coming through, and on the sidelines, Kevster is permanently checking Sparker so he can get little to nothing done.
Yeah, Sparker's not going to have a good time here, and Kevster's got the Impresight active.
Sparker ends up going down to Urki, but AT did lose their main tank to start off the engagement, which is a massive problem. Bruceon's going to have to go absolutely insane, but Urki jumps in with the Blizzard. Have they got enough damage to follow it off? The whole Hawk's coming through. Kevster and Bruceon setting up this play, and that'll be it. That Blizzard doing so much work for Urki, basically saving them the point. Everybody was trapped in the room, and you're all dead. There's no way you can escape that.
And that's such a good approach from Urki as well. He came through from the top to make sure there was very little awareness that British Hurricane may have had about the incoming usage of the Blizzard, and they were all caught in there because they're like, okay, we can all get shielded from Kevster's angle while we're in here, and we can try and deal with the rest of Angry Titans. We'll do with Kevster later. In theory, it would work out well, but Urki just got too much poke, built himself up towards that Blizzard, and that was curtains for them. Kevster's playing the same angle again. If he gets an early pick, this will drain British Hurricane's time bank. Speaking of which, that was one fight short. But 2 minutes and 15 seconds already gone. British Hurricane are already going to have to fear their time back. We only get 3 minutes per second on this patch.
Because it takes so long to set up with this comp, and then it's all about the small rotations. It's not like 3-3, we can just kind of run at each other and then come up big with the ults. Oh dear, well, Superluke ends up going down again. Now, British Hurricane can jump onto the point, but Bok and Sparker end up getting flanked. Bok ends up going down, and now man advantage for AT on this point. Danid once again just has to pop off, otherwise it's going to be all over. And Matrix comes out, but self-destruct from Molfig launch high in the sky, and British Hurricane struggling to get on this point, and actually just struggling to get a tick. Harry, they have 1 minute remaining. They have to do it in this next push, or AT are just going to win this map.
Bruceon's playing his best Taimu pick. He's going on these mad flanks, and you've got to give a load of credit to Kevster's movement there. Evidently such an experienced FPS player. He demanded so much attention from Hurricane, demanded so much fire, and he basically tanked them for a while in front of that amplification matrix just by avoiding incoming fire. He's taking an alternative angle this time. If he can catch out Bocket, make sure that Transcendence is not available, this could be British Hurricane's last push. Like we said before, this comp takes so long to set up. It's got to be all or nothing for this push, and they've got 2 offensive ultimates to try and do it.
Oh, that supercharger. It's not quite going to reach Kevster, unfortunately. He's going to take the high ground once again, though. Just dinking away a British Hurricane to build that ult up again once more. Sparker and Dan have got ults on their own, but it's going to be so hard for them to do anything against Haiti, who are on the high ground.
And now they've got to try and break through this wall. They are going to have that Deadeye active, but no one's going to peek it. For now, they can just stay off.
I mean, why would they?
The point is being now capped by AT, but now they have to deal with this nano boost. Transcendence is going to get exhausted, but instantly Huddy, who got 0 value off that supercharger, and now OT's ticking down. AT can move on to the point rather freely as Kevster just picking the backline apart. Dannon ends up going down, and now it's all up to Sparker to try and clutch this one out.
He's getting so much value off these walls. There's a Blizzard too.
Oh, it's so done. Urki landed down the Blizzard. It's all over. AT clearing off Hurricane from the point and managed to get a full hold on Voskaya.
Urki's definitely such a hero here, getting the Blizzards in the clutch scenarios, and also his walls are so good. Everyone was behind the shield, just boop, hello, wall them up, and then Kevster's got himself a firing range. And not only that, like you said, it mitigated the entire chance of a supercharge to get any value at all. The second that it went down, they basically walled off a supercharger. They're like, okay, we're going to get our one-man isolation on this small drum.
Well, you might as well. At the end of the day, that ult not only takes an age to actually build up, Harry, it can be destroyed super easily too. That was the big problem. And we did say before, you know, oh, maybe they lose their main tank. Superpluke went down a couple of times in those fights, and you're thinking, yeah, this is over. They don't have a permanent shield. But like you said, Urki comes up big. Who comes up big as well? Bruson, who, like we mentioned at the start of the series, has never been in a playoff scenario in Contenders, and he's showing up big.
He definitely is, and I can't give enough credit there to Angry Titans for how composed they were on the defense. You've got to see there is no panic in these guys when it comes to these clutch situations. They will look at a winnable scenario and they'll be like, okay, how do we win this? Okay, this is what we got to do. And one of the greatest examples of that is how they reacted to Sparker's Deadeye. With 11 seconds left, they're like, okay, these guys need to be on the point, but they have to get 3 ticks. We don't need to have a single tick defend, that sometimes you see on first point. We can give them all the space they want. We can time out this Deadeye. There's no need to take risks. It's all about the damage mitigation or the risk mitigation.
Yeah, like you said, that's the most important thing to keep in mind, is that they need 3 ticks at the end of the day, right? And one thing Urki does really well is apparently build up those blizzards, and the best time to use a blizzard, sometimes at the start of the fight, but sometimes nearer the end, where you're in a situation where the enemy team hasn't got any resources left. They're either out of ultimates, they're out of movement cooldowns, or out of key, or even positional errors that can be forced because of this mail. Like you said, at the end of the day, you're having to go onto the point. You have to get time. You have to solidify a position. Issue is, the maze there with the blizzard, then you have to vacate the premises, and you can't really do that when you're slowed up.
Yeah, and it feels like there wasn't a huge amount of value there from Sparker because there was such a united front presented by both Bruson and, of course, Superpluke as well. And often Bruce would just go off on a mad flank, and they'd call out when Sparker had used his flashbang so that Bruce could make his engagement, because he doesn't want to go in for a hook or use his breather and get stunned out of it midway through. That gives you a lot of damage and a lot of ultimate charge fed over thanks to your Roadhog. But if you're communicating those cooldowns super well, that's when you're going to be in a winning scenario.
Well, it is first to 3 maps, of course, and now the teams are tied 1 apiece. Do not go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this break.